Hello, my name's Hillary, and this is Hillary's Whiskey Lounge. Welcome. I hope you're enjoying your day, and I hope you're looking forward to a really nice Labor Day weekend. Today, we're going to be looking at the Glenfiddich 15-year Solera vatting. This is readily available. It's in most markets. It's a little tiny step up from the regular Glenfiddich. I forget what year it is, maybe just regular 10 or 12 Glenfiddich. This is made by a huge distillery in Speyside, Scotland. It is, in fact, still family run. The Grant family owns it. And surprisingly, they haven't been bought up by a giant conglomerate yet. This family distillery has been in business since 1887. Um, the Solera vatting is a special kind of way to combine malts from the same distillery, so we can still call it a single malt. There's this very complicated yet simple process by which vats are aged or casks are aged and then put in or combined into a larger vat. And that will sit there and combine for about a year, and then a bottling will occur. But they don't take out all of the liquid, all the whiskey from the vat. They add more, and then they wait another year, supposedly, and then they bottle more, and continuing this process. It's sort of like a forever pot of stew, if you've ever heard of that. Some people do this with bottles on their shelf, bottles of whiskey on their shelf, where if they find that they have just a little bit left, they'll dump it into another bottle into which they've dumped other whiskeys, and that gets combined. Some people do this just to see what they can come up with, what they can blend for themselves. However, the point of the Solera bottling, or the vatting and then the bottling, is supposed to be actually for consistency. So to me, that seems a little um, antithetical, but I'm not sure. Maybe I have to read about it a little bit more. Solera comes from a Spanish word that means close to the ground, and that is a reference to the final barrels, and then the final vat that these other whiskeys have been emptied into. I think now there's probably a little more mechanical process than the romantic idea of barrels sitting on top of each other and being slowly emptied into one another, and then finally into a larger barrel. So Glenfiddich isn't my usually in my whiskey lounge, but I picked it today because I thought it would be something that is a little less expensive or even more accessible than a couple of the other whiskeys that I've shown you. This was about $63 that I paid for this in California at my favorite um, Scotch store with the name Total in, or with the word Total in the name. I did look carefully at this label, and I didn't see anything about not being colored or not being chill filtered. So you know what that means. That probably has been chill filtered and artificially colored with the caramel colorant. But we're going to try it anyway. So I just took the foil cap off of this. There's that wonderful sound. I do have a glass of whiskey and a glass of whiskey. I do have a glass of water and my little water pitcher here. I'll pour a little into the mini Glencairn. The Glencairn glass, by the way, is celebrating its 50th birthday, I believe. If you go to their website or on their Instagram page, you'll see a lot of cool celebratory illustrations that people have made celebrating this wonderful, great nosing glass. Okay. I want to say I'm smelling caramel, but I don't know, maybe that's because of the coloring. But it's really deep. Oh, speaking of deep, this is aged in oak and sherry casks. So maybe that's what I'm smelling. It is really rich. It's really rich and flavorful. This reminds me of something that I want to be sipping on a rainy evening, not on a 94 degree summer day. But it's really rich. Um, I'm smelling some raisins or sultanas, as they would say in the UK, um, brown sugar, even cinnamon. UK enthusiasts will say Christmas cake, although I'm not sure what we would refer to that as in the United States. Maybe a fruit cake, or just a nice flavored cinnamon kind of cake. People from the UK, you have to tell me what Christmas cake is. It has a really nice aroma to it. It makes me want to just dive in and have a sip. Oh, I forgot to tell you the ABV because there's a little bit of strength bite to that. It is 40% ABV. So, and this is how many ounces this is? Oh, I think this is actually, yeah, imported by William Grant and Sons, New York. Hmm. Independently family owned and run since 1887. This is 750 milliliters, so I'm not sure why it's only 40% ABV because, oops, it would help if I put the cap on if I'm tossing it around like that. So I don't know, why is it 40% ABV? I thought the minimum in the US had to be 43, yet it's 750 milliliters, which is clearly a US, for the US bottling. So I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm pretty surprised that without any water, that this that this gives a nice little bite on the arrival. However, the development is very deep in sultanas, raisins, cinnamon, uh, whatever Christmas cake is. It's kind of a cinnamony cake. It's rather sweet, and that's due to the sherry casks that it's been aged in. Um, it doesn't have that same mouthfeel, that same richness and oiliness that you'll find in whiskeys that have not been chill filtered, which is one of the one of the negatives of chill filtering. You lose a lot of that richness and mouthfeel. The the finish is kind of dry, literally dry, not unsweet dry, but just literally dry in my mouth. I'm not getting that same richness and oiliness um, in the finish either. But the flavor is really, really nice. Mm. It kind of is a little chocolatey. Let's add a tiny bit of water. This is oops, I added a little too much water. My little mini Glencairn. So gotta add more whiskey to the glass. I hate when that happens. Okay, let's give it a nice little swirl around. Now remember that in the whiskeys that are chill filtered, you're not going to get that beautiful Scotch mist that really adds to the whole experience of drinking a whiskey. The water has really opened up the aroma. It's become almost floral. That could be because of the bourbon oak casks that the whiskey's been aged in that give it a lighter floral flavor. The arrival is much smoother with a little bit of water added, and I think that the water's actually deepened the rich, chocolatey, raisiny, Christmas cakey flavor. And it actually makes the finish a little smoother as well. So this is the Glenfiddich 15-year Sultana bottling. It's a good starter whiskey, which again is, and it's very accessible, which is why I chose it for you today. Remember, you guys are supposed to be going out getting your easily accessible whiskeys. Don't try anything fancy yet, like super deep sherry ones. Like don't get any Glendronach yet, or any peated ones yet. Um, we're getting there, but that's not where you should be right now. Get whiskeys that are easily accessible, that you can find at your local dealer, at your local whiskey store, and you're supposed to be getting your Glencairn glass and a nice little water pitcher. So that's it for today. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend, and please remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much. Today I wanted to share with you what is my Scotty and Westie shelf. This little Scotty dog, this little Westie dog, this is the West Highland White Terrier, and a very well-known Scottish Terrier. I just kept growing this collection. The first thing I got was this black and white whiskey display, and this used to be the kind of thing that that sellers of the whiskey would ask the barkeeps if they could put them on their bars or somewhere in the bar for advertisement purposes. I got this little set on eBay for, I don't know, I think about $15. It's actually in pretty good shape. I think Black and White is owned by Diageo now, but it's just a blend that was popular in, I want to say, the 60s and maybe 70s. This is part of the old men whiskey group. However, I just thought that this would be a great addition to my little whiskey lounge when it started. And since then it's grown. I've gotten little displays and little figurines. Thank you, Julie. A planter. Found this at the thrift store. A couple Walker's shortbread tins in the shape of the Scotty and Westie. And here's this decanter. I've shown this to you before on the episode with my little whiskey decanters. And of course, you have to have a flask that happens to be the color of the Stuart plaid, the Royal Stuart. And then up on my walls, I actually nailed in a couple Walker's tins onto my wall, and then found a couple of these cute little tin signs. This is a cool little hand-done drawing. I think I found this one on Etsy. And then just a couple more little signs. I did find a black and white metal sign. You can get these on Etsy or eBay or even Amazon. So, not Amazon. Amazon. So that's the little Westie and Scotty display in my whiskey lounge. It's really easy to get these little figurines, and it adds a nice touch of Scottish flavor to your whiskey lounge.